Welcome to the Big Talks podcast, where real conversations spark bold vision. From real estate and legacy to faith, business, and the hunt for something more, we dive deep with guests from all walks of life. No fluff, just real talk to help you build a life and legacy that matters. Hey everyone, welcome to the Big Talks podcast. Today my guest is Carter Crowley. He's an investor in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Kind of does a little bit more than Oshkosh, but want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so got into the real estate business back in 2015. Started as an agent, kind of transitioned towards that 2020, 2021 timeframe into the investment realm. And now strictly focus on investment properties, fixing and flipping, wholesaling, rental properties, anything and everything in between. We own some storage units. We own one industrial building, so have our hands in quite a few different things.
Yeah.
It's all a blast. I like the investment side of the business a lot more than the traditional real estate, like buying and selling and everything like that. It's just more fun. You get different interactions. You're not...
Well, you have so much more, like, your own hands are controlling what's happening and, like,
that's exactly it.
Your own take. Like, a lot of times when you're listing a house, it's just like, it is what it is. If the seller's okay with you giving advice,
perfect.
Then sure, maybe you could, but it's pretty rare that, like, you give some advice, but it's not like they're gonna like redo the kitchen to list their house. It's pretty rare.
It's like, hey, I just want to sell it the way it sits right now, and then like you or I would walk in and it smelled like I just had someone reach out today. The house smelled like cat pee. It's like,
sure,
okay,
classic.
well, yeah. Is the owner going to tear out the carpet and whatever, prime the floors and everything like that to get rid of the smell, or do they? And they're still expecting a premium price.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily matter what the scenario is. And for me as a agent, when I would experience things like that, or even just have people call and say, hey, can I look at the house this weekend? Or when you're on vacation or anything like that, and you're trying to find a substitute for you, I just got so frustrated with it that I said to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit a point in I think it was 2021 or 2020, that I'm like, I'm done showing buyers houses. I can't do this anymore. The quality of life, at least for me, my personality style, I did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
But now on the investment side, I'm still running appointments at night, weekends.
Yeah.
But I like it. So I'm like, okay, there's kind of two sides to the coin. It's on my time frame. If I didn't want to schedule them during those hours, then I could avoid doing that.
When you say appointments, do you mean like you're going and looking at the house, or somebody who has, like, an investor who owns a distressed house is looking for you to just buy it without going on the market?
Yep. So we're sourcing. So the premise of our business is we source everything off market. So we very rarely buy houses that are listed by real estate agents. And the main reason being is we have found that we can probably negotiate a better deal if there's no agents involved. Now, I, of course, have to make the disclosure, I'm a licensed agent, so on and so forth. But when we're dealing directly with the party, like the buying and selling party, or we're the buyers and we're dealing directly with the sellers, we can negotiate some sort of terms that are favorable for both sides of the equation.
Does it end up being normally somebody who lives there, or an investor who owns like a rental? And is just trying to off
so it's
some
like
of his properties.
A majority of the time, it's someone who's living there. Now, with those, the property has some sort of distress factor. And when I say distress, I'm saying it needs some sort of updating to get it to that market standard.
Yeah.
So most of these properties are definitely not market ready. Like someone would walk in, you would walk in, or I would walk in, and you're like, this place is dumb. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there's
let's
stuff
sign
everywhere.
that as is disclosure right now.
It's like we can't even see what's going on here, what the issues are. And that's where on our side, we've just walked through so many properties that I can recognize certain issues that are taking place just by taking 15, 20 minutes to walk a place or even look at photos now. And because of that, like we're able to, of course, offer them a price that allows us to make a margin, allows them to get a somewhat decent price for what they're looking for, allows them to make that next transition in life. Because if they're selling one, it's normally due to whether it needs upgrades or they're looking at downsizing or moving into an apartment or whatever. Just get rid of the burden. The houses are more burdens on themselves than they truthfully want to deal with anymore.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
An interesting fact about Carter. Sorry, it's not kind of a side note.
Hey, you're good.
He was the first person who had me on a podcast. So
Let's go.
His podcast.
Let's go.
I should rephrase that. His podcast was my first podcast.
Hey,
so
that's even
so
better.
a little plug there for Midwest Moguls, but
It's a blast.
Well, it's always, for you guys watching, it's always interesting. This is somebody who, kind of the first real investor we've had on the podcast. Somebody who, when he says he's walked through houses, like, we're talking a lot of houses.
Yeah.
And it's a very different take, because some real estate agents, they like, we walk through bad houses.
Yep.
But it's a whole different category when it's listed on the market normally.
Yep.
Like, we're talking houses that, like, a lot of people don't even want to walk in.
No,
like, you'd be
not at all.
Want to wear like a hazmat suit.
Like, that's. I can think of a few examples just to give context.
Yeah.
So we bought one once and found like fleas. I had fleas all over me.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Bed bugs.
I had that on a house on CP.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. I had to pull over, and I'm like, oh gosh.
You and me both.
Threw my clothes in the back of my truck. And then I bug bombed my truck. I'm like, I'm not doing this.
That's literally the exact story that happened to me. I was driving back from Fond du Lac, and I was on the highway, and I'm like, what is crawling all over me right now? And then I'm like, okay, I need to get out of my truck. I pulled off the highway. I took off my shirt, took off my pants. I threw them on the side of the road. I'm like, I'm not putting these in my and then I bug bombed. I was driving at that point a Jeep. Bug bombed the Jeep, traded in like
hilarious.
3 weeks later. I'm like, okay, I'm not dealing with fleas
That's
anymore.
hilarious.
That's like PTSD.
I literally like I pulled over on Bowen Street, and I was like, if a cop even comes up to me, I'm like, hopefully he'd be like, I get it. But I'm like, I like was down to my skivvies and like chucked it in the back of my truck and literally bug bombed my truck that day. I went home, and luckily, like my back deck is like, it's like an L in the house. So, and then there's like woods to our left and behind our house, so you can't see, like nobody can see into my.
So you're just
yard.
walking.
So I was butt naked, like hosing myself down, because I was like, I'm not getting fleas in my house because of one showing. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I got them in my house. I got them on my dog. My wife was freaking out.
Yeah,
because rightfully so. Like, no one wants fleas in their house, and then we're like spraying everything down, trying to kill everything, and we had the flea comb and everything going through the dog, and I'm like, this is terrible.
Yeah. How long did it take to get rid of them?
Probably like a few days, but it felt like longer than that, because then you're always checking. You're like, okay, is something crawling on me?
Yeah.
There's something on our
It's kind of like after you walk in the woods.
Exactly.
Like there's a tick on, you see a tick on you, and then the rest of the day you're just like, there's ticks
what is that?
all over me.
I'm like scratching my legs down.
It's just like a little bit of a breeze, and you're like, there's something on my neck. That's me all the time. Yeah.
Like with that kind of, so the properties are just, we've walked at this point probably 500 plus houses at least.
Yeah.
Because we've bought well over 100. We've walked probably 1,000 properties. So it's we see the worst of the worst, in more or less, like, the people are not also in good positions, and they just, most homeowners have this sentimental attachment to their house. They no longer have that, and that's where, like, from the investment side of things, some investors choose to take advantage of those situations, because they're like, oh, well, this person might be in a desperate scenario or situation. But from our side of things, we always say, okay, here's kind of the lay of the land. We can buy it for, we'll say, $100,000. That's like outright purchase, us paying all the closing costs. There's no repairs. You can leave whatever you want behind. But if you wanted to list this for sale, you can probably list it at 125 or 130 or 135 just by doing a little bit of cleanup here. Yeah. And I said, you'll still have to pay commissions and fees and everything like that, but you will definitely walk away with more money. Yeah. And 9 out of 10 of those sellers will choose to go the more convenient route just because they don't want to deal with anything. Yeah. Even though it's probably a $10,000 to $15,000 to $20,000 difference, and they know that.
Well, and I think it's also like, investors kind of get a bad rap.
Oh, very.
And kind of rightly so, because some of them spoil, they kind of stain the whole pot of investors, because there's bad people in every business. I know some bad real estate agents and have had experiences with them. They should not be in real estate. The same way, like, some investors shouldn't be investors. Yeah. Because it's like that. It's like a prey mentality. Like, I'm going to get the deal no matter what. Yep. I don't care what happens to somebody else, to somebody else's kids. Like, I'm just not thinking about other people. No. I can't remember where I was going with that, but like, taking advantage of those people is just like not the right approach. No. There's always a win-win. And where I was going with that. So in the market, I think there is like a distinct place for people who have that house that's just needs work. They could feel embarrassed listing it and like people finding out that that's their house, and like, because neighbors are going to want to walk through it, or they're going to want to see it on Trulia. All your friends are going to look at the photos, and if it's like a pigsty, they might be kind of embarrassed. So like,
correct.
And also they don't want to deal with an inspection because they don't have the funds to fix it. So they're just like, they need easy, or they're going through stuff that they just don't have the mental capacity or like time to stress about or deal with, like, what can I sell my house for max? So they're just like, I just want it to be easy and done. Like, like, especially with death in the family or anything like that, they're just like
overwhelmed.
Just let it be done, and I think there's a distinct place for investors, just even with those scenarios, much less what it does to a neighborhood. Like you talk about how investors can impact a community and a neighborhood. Like, they don't get the credit for doing that.
No.
It's like a lot of streets. I mean, even in Oshkosh, there's streets that are, as they say, on the up and up.
Yeah.
But they were not that 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. And they're all of a sudden 5 of the 20 houses get flipped. That might be a different street now. And now more people want to flip their house. And then, and all of a sudden new buyers come in, renovate, and like, but it had to start somewhere. Like somebody had to come in and take all the risk to make that house nice now. Well,
and I think some people discount the fact that like there is the perceived risk. So they're like, oh, well, you're making however many tens of thousands of dollars doing this, but it's like, okay, well, are you going to put up $150,000 of your own cash plus $40,000 to renovate it to make $20,000? Like, is that
hopefully make $20,000? Yeah,
hopefully. Like it's a calculated.
If one major thing is wrong that you didn't see, especially buying it without inspections, which is what most investors do. If there's one thing you didn't see, like what we were just talking about before we started the podcast, like a sheet, like all of a sudden you're like, okay, it needs a new roof. That's fine. You calculate, I don't know, $10,000 for your guys to do it because, I don't know, you might have a crew. Whatever, depending on the roof, 10 to 20,000. And all of a sudden you find out the sheeting's all wrong. Oh, cool. There's that $20,000 or whatever, just gone. And it's like,
well, and then you're doing a job for free. And that's where, like on our side, and I've had conversations with some of my buddies in the business about this, is the amount of volume we do makes up for the mistakes because not all projects are profitable. We've lost money on numerous ones, not in a good way. It's like, we're obviously not trying to lose money, but those unexpected things go up, and
they're going to happen no matter what.
And that $20,000 profit you make now turns into negative $5,000 or $10,000 if it sells for less, or you stick more money into it, or a combination of the two. And that's where I think people get this perception of what investors are doing. It's like, oh, well, whatever, they're making all this money by not doing any work or whatever. In some cases, that definitely could be the truth.
Yeah.
But in other cases, you also don't want to be stroking a check for $10,000 to sell a place. Like, that's not fun. And that's happened to us. It's like, okay, well, we just need to get our money back. We'll move on to the next deal. We'll do some other ones to make up for it and kind of move forward.
Yeah, my very first investment property, I always kind of tell this story. It was the first week we had it, right? So first flip, kind of nervous. I'm younger. This is, years ago now. And first week, found out that it was all knob and tube, the whole thing.
Dang.
I probably should have known better, but I just, when I was looking at other things, and they had like updated light switches and stuff. So I didn't like open them and look in, but the inspector didn't catch it. I had an inspection. So I was pretty frustrated.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah. I was like, dude, like,
that's a huge...
At least call that out. Like, I looked back and the inspection didn't say, like, it's one thing to call it a defect or not, but to not list that it's all knob and tube is a whole nother thing.
Yep.
And so, needless to say, I don't use that inspector anymore. But that was, first week of the flip.
They are no longer in the business.
I think the cheapest quote I got was like $10,000.
Yeah.
To remove all that, and because it's one of those older houses.
Oh, exactly.
The wiring's going all through plaster, and like, so it's just a whole thing. And it's like, well, how much do we want to do? How much do we want to open up all the walls?
I know.
And but yeah, that was the first week, and that people don't think about that. It's like, these are, investors are buying properties that could eat up $50,000 real quick.
Yeah.
Like,
we have one
really
right now.
quick.
It's the same. It's like a money pit, because we had We wrote a check for the plumbing, $8,800 because everything needed to be replumbed. None of it was proper.
When plumbing is hard, one of those things that's hard to know.
Yeah.
Like most real estate agents know nothing. Know nothing about plumbing.
Yeah.
And me included. Like all I know is like you kind of just have to like have grading. Like I don't know what's technically right.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and the stuff I saw in the house, I'm like, well, it seems fine.
Yeah.
Like, but $8,800 later, obviously it wasn't.
Guess it wasn't.
Yeah. I'm like, well,
the whole main stack is bad. Yeah. Oh, cool, great, thanks.
I know, and that's like some of those things, and you are taking the risk is definitely it pays off in some cases if you can acquire the places and do it on a frequent basis, and it doesn't take that many deals to make a pretty decent living, especially if your overhead cost isn't that bad. But in the long term, it's no different. Kind of like tying this back to real estate agency and like even working a normal job, is the long-term approach is, okay, I'm going to have to, like, we only can profit off of what we're contracting or purchasing or whatever the case is. So it's everyday hunt to acquire more deals or acquire more leads or whatever the scenario might be. And in the long term, I don't know if that's sustainable for anyone unless they absolutely love it. And I really enjoy it, but long-term outlook, possibly transitioning into something else, maybe a little bit more passive or a business type that doesn't necessarily require so much attention.
Do you ever think are you going to like want to do like rentals and stuff?
And that's kind of the thought pattern, because the conversations I have with Joe, my brother-in-law, he's in our business as well and helps out with things. But I'm like, okay, we can keep flipping houses. We can keep going on appointments, contracting these places, do everything like that. But I said, if you or I or something happens to us, it dries up. Like it's, if we're the only people in that role versus rentals, generally you can buy a rental, place a tenant in there. If it's a long-term rental, hire a third party to manage that all for you and try to receive some sort of passive income from it. And it might not necessarily be totally passive, but over the course of 15, 20, 25, 30 years, you're going to possibly...
It's a lot more passive than renovating it.
Yeah, way more. And of course, you'll have issues that arise, but over the time horizon, the value is going to rise up, and you're going to pay the mortgage down. You're going to get some tax benefits and everything like that. And then you can either choose to sell those off, live on that nest egg, or you can just collect the monthly income and go from there. And that's kind of the ultimate goal. And slowly we're building that up. I know we had a conversation prior to this of like purchasing portfolios of properties. That's ideally the route that we would like to go, but only time will tell on that side. And I don't have a ton of attention going towards it. So
well, that's interesting. I mean, I think that's something that I'd like to do eventually. But it takes so much time to get the deal, and
it does.
And like how much are you paying attention? Like I've had a couple that I wanted to buy myself, but it was either my listing or a buyer was interested in it, and I'm like, well, like I can't really buy it out for my own client. I mean, technically I could, but that's pretty sleazy.
Well,
I mean, it's like,
what are they offering it now? They're offering 136.
What are you offering? Oh, yeah, 130. Okay, I'll be at 140. Well, how did that happen? I don't know. And then they see the sale.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you like, son of a
Austin Bowman, the new owner of this place.
Yeah,
that's strange.
Slight, mistrust there.
Oh, exactly.
What's your like favorite?
Yeah.
If you had to pick one thing that either brings you like value or is just your most enjoyable part of being a landlord, would it, like, pertaining to just everything you do, would it be like finding a property or the finish goal and seeing the property done? Is that like your favorite part, or like, I don't know, what do you enjoy the most?
No,
or the
great question. Great question. So on my side, I don't necessarily love the renovation process, but specifically on rentals, like the first aha moment that I had was years ago. We had a duplex in Kimberly. We've sold it off since, but that first one, I'm like, we bought it. It was it was run down. It was just not a nice house. But once that property was finished with new flooring, cabinetry, bathroom, everything like that, seeing that finished product was like, holy moly! Like, we're providing some pretty nice housing on the rental side of things for somewhat decent price, like affordable pricing at that point. That was extremely satisfying. And now I just, like, since then I've kind of evolved and grown as a person. I like chasing the deal. That's what kind of makes me keep striving every day. Is like, hey, if we say you were a seller and I was the buyer, I'm just negotiating back and forth, trying to come to some sort of agreement that's mutually acceptable.
Yeah.
That is what I enjoy now, and following up with people and seeing if we can work something out. So it's basically just chasing the deal, no matter what the business is.
Yeah.
It could be real estate, it could be something else, and it's always just seeing, okay, can we
like
work
actually getting the property?
Getting the property.
That's pretty exciting.
That's literally,
because then it opens up the whole can of worms.
Exactly.
Like, what can we do? And that's the creative aspect of that. Do you pretty much, like, what's your system for deciding what to do with the property? Do you have pretty much cookie cutter kind of system? Like, I knew I won't name names, but I knew a investor that had, it's kind of moved out of it. He does more commercial stuff now, but he always had he had a 3-option program. So he'd buy a house, and he would either he had a couple crews, because he would buy he did quite a bit. And he would tell his crew 1, 2, or 3, and that answered everything. That's how much of a system he had. So the person running, the manager of the crew, just said, "Oh, 1." I mean, I'm sure there was a few questions that you got to ask, because every house is different, but 99% of the questions were answered. Hey, this is the color scheme. These are the cabinets that we're getting, which answered everything. And he would buy similar to what you're buying, pretty distressed, and then tell him 1, 2, or 3, and that helped him just not have to be there.
I love that idea. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, do it. But I was curious, if you have something like that, or if you just have a tried and true, throw gray everywhere.
Well, exactly. So we have everything skewed, the product skews on our side, and lists of the stuff that we purchase. Now all the job sites generally look the same. They're all pretty darn similar, maybe. But what I like about the investor that you're referring to is the fact that not all job sites are full gut remodels. Some of them are very light cosmetic things. We can implement that on our side. But what we generally do is same flooring, same paint color, same cabinetry, same counters, backsplash, so on and so forth, just to keep it similar, and then it doesn't confuse the contractors that are working there. And then you can pick and choose what things
I didn't want this white. I wanted the other white.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's where, for us with the volume, it's a lot easier to go that route. So a lot of the creativity is almost taken out of it. Now, I don't mind that the creativity is taken out of it, because we can hand that role off to anyone in the business, and they can accomplish the exact same thing. But when we started, we had no job sites looked the same. They were all different cabinets, all different vanities and counters and everything like that. And it was just so confusing. And then
every house, you're having to make all those little decisions.
And then my perception of what I think it should look like is going to be different than someone else in our business. Or someone else that we're selling it to. And it made it so much more time consuming. And then my dad is a business partner. He manages a lot of the job sites. So when he would leave, or when he first left, because he winters down in Florida. So when they first went down to Florida, then I was managing everything. And I'm like, we need to make this a heck of a lot more simple, because I'm overwhelmed. I'm running on appointments. At that point, I was still helping people buy and sell properties. So I'm doing all these different tasks, and it was becoming too much. And then you're working 70, 80-hour weeks.
Well, I think a lot of people walk into a house and are like, oh, it's been all gray splashed or whatever. That was a term for a while. And it's
very.
Well, but that's, it's because if this person's doing a lot of volume, every little decision, when we did our first flip, I'm very proud of it. We ended up making money, which is crazy on the first flip. I was like, okay, sweet. I think we made we profited $8,000. Right, it was on Sawyer Street in Oshkosh.
Better than us.
I was like, okay, sweet. And I was honestly just happy if we broke even. I was just as long as we don't lose money on our first, even if we did lose money, it's still learning experience you need. So I was pretty happy with the numbers, but we did a lot of tinkering and marketplace buying for we bought a vanity and I rebuilt it. And I'm like, man, if I did that now, it's the amount of time. My wife completely refinished what's it called? One of those built-in, kind of like a built-in vanity for dishes. This is I think it was 1924 built.
Oh, sweet.
On Sawyer Street. So that was it was, I was really proud of it, really cool. We put a nice brown, discounted obviously, flooring in there. and like, you know, picked all the paint. My wife like hand painted the front porch. Like,
dang,
the amount of time we put into this, because it's the first, so like we did everything.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, to do it again, I haven't been doing flips recently, but like, man, to do that again, it's like that was so much time.
It is.
Be a lot easier and a lot more time efficient to just slap stuff, and probably like kind of cheaper, because
correct,
whenever you're doing like if you're hand painting something, you're going to care a lot more about the paint.
Oh, without
and like all kinds of stuff like that, where it's, you know, if you're slapping on just the same paint everywhere, the house is still going to look nice and clean and be a simple buy, you know, and as long as it's not done cheaply, you know, everybody knows the cheap flips, but you know, I think that's a huge part about having a real estate agent that's been through a lot of houses.
Oh, exactly.
Is they can, like, I can call out a cheap flip pretty quick.
Oh,
you
and
know?
you see it, like you walk in, like, okay, this flooring feels like it's going to crack as I'm walking on it.
Yep.
That's a little strange. And then you just see some of this. And initially when I first got my license, I'm like, oh, dang, these places look nice in photos. The flip houses do.
Yeah.
And then you would walk in and you're like, God, this place sucks.
Yep.
Like it's terrible. Like the cabinets are kind of falling apart. They just painted them and
half the trim is just caulk to make it.
Yeah, I know.
Good,
and I'm like,
it's not actually good.
No, and I always think, because I'm fairly young, I'm like, okay, reputation in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, do we want to be known as the people who did hokey work and then it comes back and bites us at some point? Or do we want to just do the full remodel on it, make it look nice and resell it, and maybe probably make the same amount of money, but then sleep better at night knowing that you're not going to have something come back on you because you covered something up.
Yeah, and like nobody's expecting like the world's best cabinets put into a flip especially when it's like $150,000 to $200,000 house. You're not going to have like brand new oak cabinets or whatever, you know. But like, as long like people can tell when it's the cheap stuff, and as long as it's not that, I think people will appreciate it, because it's like for $200,000, you can't, like, it's tough to buy a house that doesn't need anything.
Yeah,
you know. So if it's been renovated at all, it's like, okay, like maybe one day, like if you're going to stay there for a long time, maybe one day upgrade the cabinetry when they wear out. But it's like, you can't expect like crazy cabinets and like the most expensive appliance package, you know, like all these things. And
some people do, but
they're like,
reality sets in.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh God. But yeah, it is an interesting business, and that's where like I you learn and you grow so much as a individual, regardless of the industry that you're in, when you're just experiencing some of the difficulties. And like, we always highlight the high moments. It's like, oh yeah, this is great, fantastic, whatever. We're making a bunch of money. But then there's of course lows that come with everything, and you're like, okay, then that really questions how much do you actually like this versus are you just doing it to do it, or whatever the case is. And you always have those experiences. And I think even in recent times for myself, I'm like, okay, like let's try to figure this out, because if we keep running down the same path, either burnout's going to happen or you're going to not like what you're doing or whatever. So we just need to course correct. Yeah. And those small corrections, I think, go a long way into fulfillment, happiness. Absolutely. Doing what you actually like to do, like podcasts or video content or whatever. It's all fun. Yeah. And you have conversations like this that it's like, okay, we're sitting down for 30, 45 minutes, an hour, just talking. And this business allows us to do that, which is sweet.
Yeah. And it's also like, collaboration is so important. I think that's a huge thing about, like, especially young people in business now. Like, I'm kind of starting to age out of saying young, but
you're young.
Yeah, I'm still compared to a lot of people, I'm still young. But like, it's so important, because like there's properties where like one day you might call me and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Or, you know, this house isn't selling. What do you think? Or something, you know? Yeah. And the same thing goes for me, and I go, hey, I have a seller who maybe shouldn't be talking to me. Let me kick him over. You know, kick him over to you and just see what you think. And just somebody who has more expertise, and it can be a win-win for both. But like, that's such an important thing nowadays, and I think people are very much willing to share ideas and collaborate and share experiences nowadays. Whereas I think the old approach used to be like, well, no, I'm only going to talk to people in my brokerage. You know, like I don't care who somebody's with. I'm where I'm at because I think this is the most valuable place I can be. Yeah. That's why I'm here. I'm not there to tell somebody else that that's not where they should be.
Well, and it's so strange that, and I don't even know maybe it was out of ego or whatever the case is, but like, what is wrong with having conversations with people in different businesses or what, like no other, like the real estate industry seemed to be that way for so long. It's like, oh, well, you're not at my brokerage or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
We can't necessarily.
Well, I don't want to give you my good ideas because then I'll lose money somehow. No,
it's
you
like,
won't.
no,
There's so much out there. There's so much pie to eat. And
it's insane. And it's just small-minded thinking is what
and
I
it's
think
also like you're probably not the first person. It's probably not like your idea. Like, you know what I mean? Like you probably learned it from somebody else. You know what I mean?
You read
like,
it in a book. You saw it in a YouTube video.
Yeah, you think the thousands of other I don't even know how many do you know how many real estate agents there are in the Fox
area?
cities?
Oh my, too many.
I don't even know.
Probably
but
too
it's
many.
I mean it's well into it's at least like 500, I'm sure. So I mean maybe more than 1,000.
Yeah.
You think none of those real estate agents thought about any of this? You know what I mean? Like I'm sure half of them maybe not some of those high end like niche thinking things, but we're almost never like the first idea.
No.
You know, it's more about when you have that idea, what do you do with it? You know?
Exactly.
But yeah, so I got another question for you.
For
What's like your where are you wanting to be in 5 years? Like what's your track on I know we kind of touched on it, like maybe fading out, but what like do you see yourself wanting to do that investing helped prop up? Is it more like because of time and being able to like chill and hang out with your wife, or more about a passion changing in like your job?
Yeah. So great question on that side, because it's something that I think about, and I think about the sustainability of what we're currently doing. And for myself, because I'm 29, so I'm fairly young.
You watch New Girl?
No.
29? That's like a huge, if you watch New Girl, you would know. Yeah, I have a wife, so I see New Girl a lot. But 29? For those New Girl fans, 29? Anyway, all right, continue. I'm really good at distracting.
Hey, you're good. You're good. I love it. But on that side of things, so for me, the goal is eventually to own and operate some sort of portfolio of property, like on the rental side, whether it's residential or commercial or industrial or something like that. That is the ultimate goal. Now, I think trajectory in 5 years, if we keep going at the same pace as what we're doing now, we should be able to build up a decent portfolio at that point to just maybe not even like take our foot off the gas, but have that breathing room to not be so like worried. And it's not necessarily that I'm like, oh, I'm always in a panic or worry, but it's just a high stress environment. There's a lot of money moving around. There's a lot of things happening. And if we can do a little bit less volume on flipping or wholesaling or like the smaller transactions and just do like some one-off bigger ones, like acquiring apartment units or storage units or whatever, that's kind of the ultimate goal. And then transitioning it into, I would like to start lending out money for investment properties, such as like a hard money lending company, or earn a little bit larger rate of return on that side. So like some sort of money fund manager, I should say. It's kind of the long-term trajectory, but we want to ideally, if we can, build up enough equity in our properties that we could just lend out the equity. And then transition that into whatever else. So
that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm. So that's kind of the ultimate goal.
Well, I mean, that right there is some of those ideas that people don't think about.
Correct.
You know, now you just ruined your whole career.
I know. That's okay. Like more power to them. More power to them.
Well, honestly, if you get to that point, you're doing a good job. So like, touche to anybody who gets there. You know,
and it's a lot. And what I always think, because it's like, okay, you always have those yearly goals that you set for yourself. And you're like, okay, let's make whatever amount of income this year, or do however many deals, or whatever characteristic or thing that you want to put down. And for me, I'm like, okay, 12 months, it's really hard to predict how much you can accomplish. But then over the course of years, you have this compounding effect of, okay, this one thing will eventually allow us to do this. And then you can start just having these building blocks, or like a snowball effect, and then eventually hit that huge goal that you might want in 5, 10, 15 years from now. So I always try to take a little bit longer term approach, and then like obviously, God willing, you make it to that point. You never know. So I can just kind of keep pushing forward and trying the best you can. And then I run a little on the intense side of things as far as like accomplishing things or wanting to get things done. So it might be a little bit higher level than some people are comfortable with. But I'm like, well, yeah, nothing's necessarily given, and I'd rather sacrifice right now in the short term for 5, 10 years, 15 years, and then have a little bit more freedom come my late 30s or 40s or 50s or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's just a few different ways to.
Yeah. Well, that's the fun about it, is like it'll all work out, and it's just like learning
Hopefully.
that path. Yeah. It will. It will. I'm a firm believer if you're the kind of person who's willing to put the work in, it'll work out. It'll work. It won't be the way you think. It's never exactly the way you think it'll work out. Like
never.
Flipping houses, real estate, all of that look very different from the outside. And that's fine. And it'll never be exactly the way you think it's going to be. But I think if people are willing to put the work in, it'll all work out.
Yeah.
And you'll end up eventually being somewhere where you're still happy and doing something you love. But have you been seeing a difficulty in buying properties with the way the market has been the last 5 years, or is that more so why you kind of avoided buying stuff off the market?
Yes. Yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
Yeah. So and then to give a little context there. So for us, like the Fox Valley area has been extremely competitive, is what it seems. So what we've been doing, so I live in Oshkosh. We'll go within we'll buy within a 2-hour radius of home. So we'll go up to Door County, Wausau area, down through Milwaukee, Madison, Kenosha, Racine. We just put one under contract in Kenosha last night. So we're expanding that radius to get more volume, but ultimately to make it easier on ourselves to acquire the properties. Because I'm like, if we're so hyper focused on Oshkosh or Appleton or Neenah Menasha or any of those Fox City areas, it seems like there's a lot of investors here. Yeah. And there's not as much volume as far as houses are.
When you don't have the volume to sustain what your goal is.
Exactly.
You got to keep having, if you're making, obviously every house is different, but you got to keep up the amount of houses just to keep that profit going. But I think that's a big threshold a lot of people don't go into, is I think they only go, well, I don't want to leave Oshkosh. I don't want to leave Appleton because I'm nervous that I'll be wrong about something. And you're always going to be wrong about something.
Exactly.
Nobody's 100% right ever, So I don't think there's anything wrong with expanding your scope a little bit. I think it's just a big threshold that people don't want to do. What's the biggest drawback that you've had so far? Just the time travel?
Time travel has been one. Like that that always comes into the picture. But then if the jobs that we buy that are located, say, an hour plus away, we're sourcing other contractors. Yeah. And you don't, there's not someone there every single day managing them.
Yeah, might not be your guys that you know and trust.
And that's extremely difficult because we've had jobs drag on because we just can't have the oversight that we need to. So in those areas, say we buy a place down in Madison, it's an 1.5-hour drive from Oshkosh. We are going to try and do a very light remodel if we can, if the property will be able to relist and sell going that route. Yeah. Or we just try to buy it, find another investor to buy it from us for a little bit more money and make a small chunk. Okay. So it's we're willing to expand a tiny bit to do that. But we try to limit the risk by not taking on these huge renovations, $20,000+ or $30,000 plus renovation costs from an 1.5 hours away. Yeah. Because it just opens yourself up to that much more risk and getting taken advantage of and everything.
Yeah. Well, because if you can't be there all the time, that's half the battle.
Yeah, but. And you can't check on things, and that's I know we had a job in Wausau. It was possibly one of the, I don't want to say worst one. I learned a ton. I learned a ton.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, exactly. But it's that one. It took 1.5 years to renovate. We had issues that popped up the whole time. We dealt with city inspections and everything. We should have never bought it, but it was not a profitable deal, so we didn't have to necessarily write a check, but the final negative profit numbers were multiple tens of thousands of dollars. I'm like, well, okay, I can look at that and be like, woe is me, this sucks, I'm never doing this again. Or we can just keep moving on, doing other deals and make up for it. Yeah. And that's where we just got it in over our head with the amount of renovation that was needed. And I didn't have enough, the thought there, we were actually going to buy it, resell it right away to another investor. He couldn't get financing. And I'm like, of course. That was our only exit strategy going into it because I'm like, we're never going to renovate this place. And sure enough, we got caught renovating it. It was a terrible project, and the house turned out gorgeous, but the project itself was just not.
Are you fully out of it now?
Yeah. We were out of it at the beginning of this year. We bought it September of 23.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's a long.
That's a long one.
Oh,
yeah, especially when you're hiring people and
exactly.
Yeah.
So you just have money going out every single month, and you have a project that's not getting done. And then I drove up to Wausau probably 24 times to do something there, or deliver materials, or manage people, or see what's going on. And it's like, okay, you're hour and a half, 2 hours each way.
How much your job is like getting on people to get?
It's yeah.
Probably half of it.
Yeah, because like and that's where even speaking what the expectation might be. Because if I tell you, even we're sitting here right now, hey Austin, we want to renovate this kitchen, white cabinets, new counters, tile backsplash, whatever, stainless steel appliances. But if I give you that idea, and then you're like, well, what kind of handle pulls on the cabinetry, or what kind of counters, like what color counters, your perception of that is going to be totally different. So it's laying out the actual expectations in writing, documenting, and then staying on top of those guys to actually implement that. And then it's like, hey, it says right here, brush nickel handle pulls, the same ones we use on every job site, we provide them. This is what needs to be installed in the center of the cabinets, because we don't want them off to the left or off to the right. They need to be dead center. So it's like little things like that. If a contractor screws up, we will make them fix it. And we're not going to pay them for that extra time. It's just a labor bid is what I'm getting quoted from the beginning. Which seems to work.
When I think like that speaks a lot to like the communication up front.
Oh, it's huge.
It's huge, because I had an electrician that took a year to get back to finish the garage, because he was like, well, we'll just finish it up now and we'll do it later. I was newer. And it took him a year to get him back to that garage. And I'm like, dude, like, get here now, or we're gonna I'm gonna start having a real issue here, because I'm like, it's just a garage. I'm asking for half of your day. Figure it out. Like, you've already been paid, which was my mistake. But you've already been paid, so get it done. But sometimes you have to bring out the mama bear in you, kind of.
But that's exactly it, because it's like you can't always, you want to be nice. That's my natural tendency, is to not be a jerk to people. But sometimes you need to. Sometimes you need to have that, you got to have that backbone. And to be honest, contractors, they can take it. And they know when they're taking too long. It's in the back of their head. They know when they're overbooked. Which sometimes, sure, communication could have caused that. And I've made that fault, but before, for not saying what I should have said originally, or not being harsh enough up front. And if I was harsh enough up front, I might not have had to have been so harsh later on. And not even harsh, but just clear. Exactly.
Here's the deal. This needs to be done. Is that going to be a problem at all?
I know.
Because if it is, I'm moving on to the next guy.
See?
And if you say that a lot of times, we'll be like, well, we'll figure it out.
But and you always have the hope when you're having those conversations, oh, well, that's not going to be the case this time. You assume he gets it, or she. Hey.
But that's right. No, but you assume you assume they get it, and those assumptions can cost you a lot of time.
Exactly. But it is. It's an interesting business, and it, like any business, comes down to the communication, expectations.
That's half of real estate, despite being an investor or a flipper. It's just communication is 90% of my job. It's sending text messages. I got out of a meeting yesterday and I had 38 text messages.
That's what I'm like.
38.
My phone's on do not
from
disturb, so
an hour.
It's gonna be insane.
1 hour, 38. I was just like, what is
how does this happen?
I'm like,
not all of you people.
And of course,
have
some of it's the classic family family text, and most people in my family know I'm pretty much not responding because it's
do not disturb.
Cannot I cannot follow 4 group chats.
Oh, there's no way.
No, thank you. But Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man.
No, I appreciate this was a blast. I'm glad we got to catch up.
I always hate talking to you, and
I know
it's kind of the worst. But
it happens.
Most
people are like
especially
that.
Especially people not in color.
I know.
So
I know.
What the heck? We probably shouldn't talk ever.
That's exactly. We're gonna start segregating these brokerages again.
Yeah. Never talk to each other ever again. Well, if you're interested in learning about investing and kind of getting into that business, I'm sure Carter would be happy to answer any questions you have.
Feel free to reach out.
Yeah. How could people reach out to you?
They can call me, text me, 920-252-2864, or follow any of the social media, Carter Crowley on all platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. So
you want to plug your podcast too?
Podcast Midwest Mogul Show.
Midwest Mogul Show.
Subscribe,
you go way back. When did we do the one with me?
It was in the winter, wasn't it?
I think so. Was it? But it was like 2024.
Most likely. 2024,
winter.
Probably.
Yeah, it would have been
November, December timeframe.
Yeah,
maybe
a hot minute ago. But
yeah, no kidding.
It kind of was a big inspiration for me starting one.
Hey, there we go. Shout out
thank
to
you, Carter. Yeah, but thanks for coming on. It was really good.
Appreciate it. This was a blast.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Big Talks podcast, where vision meets action and stories build legacy. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's chasing something bigger. Until next time, keep talking big.